Welcome everyone to Njenje Media TV. This is your favorite station. This evening is going to be a very fantastic evening, and I am your host, Nwaezeigwe. This evening, we will be looking at the North and the statement made by Hakim Baba Ahmed, who said that the North can play the second fiddle and that they insist that they have the vote to win the 2023 presidential election. Now, to have this conversation, I would have the privilege to have eminent Nigerians to join me this evening. Guess who my guests are. But before I bring my guests and introduce them, let me quickly go through one of these newspaper reportage in order to lay the groundwork here. Now, according to Punch newspapers, it says that the Northern Elders Forum has said that the North was in the process of rebuilding itself and was not prepared to play second fiddle in a nation where it clearly enjoys numerical strength. The director of publicity and advocacy of the Northern Elders Forum, Dr. Hakim Baba Ahmed, said this while delivering a keynote address at the Median Maitama Sule Lecture series organized by the student wing of the Coalition of Northern Group held at Ahmadu Bello University Zaria on Saturday. Now, this statement has elicited so many responses. Now, a group called the Southern and Middle Belt Alliance, SAMBA, has condemned the statement credited to the Director of Publicity and Advocacy of the Northern Elders Forum, Dr. Hakim Baba Ahmed, boasting that the Northern Nigeria will retain the presidency in 2023 because they have the numbers to lead Nigeria in perpetuity. Samba, in a statement signed by the spokesperson Prince Rank Pang Jr., and made available to newsmen also in Njenje Media on Monday, being yesterday in Abuja, said that the statement purportedly made on behalf of the Northern Elders Forum is reckless, careless, and insensitive. The group wondered how the Northern Elders Forum, with the caliber of educated people amongst them, can resort to boasting that the North has the population to do anything they want with power. And obviously everyone agrees that that statement was reckless. Now, the statement also went further to say, our attention has been drawn to the statement credited to Ahmed, and everything is said in therein. One other thing that came out of that statement by Samba is to clearly state that the North is no longer, as many of us knew them, ab initio. Now, to have this conversation this evening, I have the privilege here in the studio with me to sit down with Dr. Tony Nwaezeigwe, who is the Director, Nigerian Civil War and Genocide Research Network, Research Fellow-in-Exile at Institute of African Studies, University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Dr. Nwaezeigwe is also, obviously, you have watched the video, or maybe if you haven't, let me take the time now to play this video for you, and I want to have your response.
We lead Nigeria the way we have led Nigeria before. Whether we are president or vice president or whatever, we will lead Nigeria. Not because we are better than anybody else, but because if you are doing a democratic game, the votes say vote who you want. We have the majority of the votes. Why do we need to accept a second-class position when we can fight for and get a first-class position? Why? Why does anybody need to threaten us and cajole us and intimidate us? If you don't bring the presidency here, you will see. Okay, let's see. We are willing to see. But when we get that power, in the name of God, be humble, because power comes from God. If they tell you the North must play second fiddle, say no. But in what game? Please, sir, what are the rules of this game? If the rules of the game say you should vote for the candidate of your choice, vote for the candidate of your choice. If they don't like the fact that it may be a northerner who will emerge as president, too bad. If we want to support a southerner, we will support a southerner because that will be in our own interest rather than in somebody's interest. And we can decide for ourselves. We don't need anybody to tell us what to do.
So, Dr. Nwaezeigwe, may I have your response to this video?
Nwaezeigwe, see, I don't really know, but that was quite insulting, recklessly insulting. It's insulting, and I don't blame him. I only blame those who claim to be our leaders, who claim to be our politicians. I also blame our traditional rulers. I blame our religious leaders for this riffraff simply because the British gave them the opportunity to lord over a country they never struggled for, a country they never have any resources to manage of their own. Then they now, even the British themselves, we are not as reckless as this bumfool talking about taking power, talking about majority. By the way, who are the northerners? You are talking of Fulani, who are oppressing the northerners. You cannot talk about them. I don't blame them, because I even blame Paul Onongo. Dr. Paul Onongo is somebody I have a very high regard for. As a fighter of the Middle Belt, as a fighter with deep spirit of resistance against Fulani oppression. And I was surprised to see Paul Onongo there, sitting at Kimbo, watching a cattle rearer to insult him and insult his people. People who are slaughtering his own people, and he's there watching him sitting at Kimbo, boasting, declaring him a slave. Because when he speaks of northern rule, it's not about northern rule. He's talking about Fulani rule. And in that case, if you are not a Fulani man and you're a northerner, you are definitely a slave to the Fulani, which is actually their own interpretation of the other component group, ethnic groups in the northern Nigeria. And I want to state that I want the Benue State governor, that energetic, vibrant governor of the Middle Belt, Samuel Otom, to simply please declare his shift, migrate to Southern Governors Forum, because that is where you belong. Where your spirit is not, your body can never be comfortable there. The point to start with, apart from the inclusion of Fulani groups from Central African Republic, those displaced in Central African Republic, those from Guinea, those from Senegal, those from Burkina Faso, bringing them and issuing them voters' cards. How can a Fulani man come out and tell us that he controls the majority? And because our people also allow them to do so, we have our Federal Character Commission. What is the role of Federal Character Commission? When you have a Fulani as the president, you have a Fulani as the Chief Justice of the Federation, you have a Fulani as the Chief as Chief Judge of Court of Appeal, you have a Fulani as what? As even the Chief of Army Staff, as even the Inspector General of Police Force, the head of INEC, the head of EFCC, the head of DSSS, the head of NIA, all of them Fulani. And he's telling us, and he has the animal body to talk of not. And people are keeping quiet. I think it is right time. You see, some of us don't really want this idea of secession. We don't really want any idea of secession. But I want to bet you that such reckless pronouncements, that audacious insolence on the South and greater majority of the Middle Belters can lead some of us to start thinking of secession. And by that time, we tell them what sustains them in power is the oil in the South, is the VAT in the South, And that is why today I stand 100% with Wike that you cannot be destroying beer in the name of Islam in Kano State, in Kaduna State, and you again enjoying the fat. It means you're also consuming the beer indirectly, because it's very simple. So I want to say that that statement is reckless, it's insulting, and we can never tolerate it. And I want to tell him that some of us, we are not even, because I see it as even a distraction. Our interest presently in Nigeria is how to stop their murderous groups killing our innocent people from Zamfara to the east to Plateau to Southern Kaduna, because these are meant to create such a disorganized, such insecurity situation that they could now appoint anybody as the president of the federation. So that, and this statement is just a distraction to push us away from the ominous danger looming in this country as a fallout to their constant shedding of innocent blood in our nation.
Thank you very much for that very, very vibrant and loud and clear statement you've made. Now, I think Annkio Briggs here has joined us, and I would have the privilege to welcome Annkio Briggs here to the podium. Now, to ask you, obviously, the video that you have watched of Hakim Baba Ahmed and that statement that he has made, also which necessitated the topic of conversation this evening. What's your take of that statement that the North has the population, well, basically in his words, I quote him, the numerical strength in order to win the next election? What's your take on
that? Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Nwaezeigwe, the truth of the matter of where we are today and what we are discussing, of what Ahmed said. First of all, I'm not surprised. I was not surprised to hear it. This is the type of language the Fulanis and have expressed since 2015. That's one. Two, if you notice, he just came on the scene. Now, what I mean by just came on the scene, there were people before him from 2015 that have been making this insightful and agitating statements, disrespectful, disregarding, like, what you go fit do, una no go fit do anything. And I don't blame them. I blame our people. I blame our politicians. First of all, there is this information going around that he is from Mauritius or whatever, that he's not even in Nigeria.
There is, I've read that he's from Mauritania.
Mauritania, thank you.
Yeah.
That he's from Mauritania. This is not the first time I have heard it. So if he's from Mauritania, and it's easy to trace, but who cares? Most of them do not have their origin in Nigeria anyway. But you see, for me today, this evening, that is not the major point. The major point is this. So what are we going to do about it? And that is what they themselves are asking, because in that interview, he said the heavens can fall, that they are waiting, that they will rule. What he's saying is they will rule forever. Mazi, you and I have had a personal conversation, one-on-one conversation, and I've told you years ago, and I've said this publicly as well, that the North, let's even stop saying the North now, the Fulani have no intention of giving up power in 2023. I told you this, I think, when we had the South-South meeting in Owerri, that time that I believe Nnamdi Kanu was still in prison at that time when we started working together on the South-South-Southeast working together. So you see, some of us have seen this coming for a very, very long time, that they've gone from the oil in Bayelsa belongs to them, and they are right in the sense that, what I mean by they are right in the sense that they are allocated the oil, the money that comes from the oil in the Niger Delta is controlled by them. The central bank is controlled by them. Everything today in Nigeria is absolutely and totally controlled by them. And at the end of the day, what the question is, what are we going to do about it? What are the farmers, the fishermen, the politicians, the poor, the rich, the weak, the old, the men, the women of southern Nigeria, of the Middle Belt, what are we going to do about it? They will not change. There is nothing that is going to make them change. They have said what they have said. What he said, he didn't say it on his own. He didn't say what he said on his own. He has said it with the cover and backing of the is it the Elders
Northern Elders Forum.
Elders Forum. You see, I watch these people when they perform, and I must say that I watch them with a level of amusement and almost awe, because their strategy, you can't take away their strategy from them. While we are busy confusing ourselves and talking all the time and threatening all the time, they are busy planning and strategizing. And at the end of the day, they throw something out, and we're doing what we're doing now about what Ahmed has said. There is already something else. There is already something else that is in the pipeline, as my people would say, that is going to take hello, oh God, Mazi.
Go ahead, we can hear you. Go ahead, we can hear you.
Good. Okay, so at the end of the day, really and truly, they understand us more than we understand ourselves. And until we note that, until we begin to act on the fact that we need to act on understanding, people are running around planning 2023 election. What 2023 election? There is not any 2023 election. Why do I say that? Will they not hold the election? Oh, they will hold the election, all right. But it is the result that they have planned almost 2-3 years ago that is going to emerge.
No,
that.
Okay, yeah. Sorry here. May I interject? You've obviously said something about what's going to happen. What do we do? Isn't this reaction as a result of what the collective Southern Nigerian governors have done, the meeting that they had in Enugu to say power must, this is non-negotiable, move down to the South? Isn't that in some school of thought? Obviously, I have read where people argue, oh, maybe this, the firing shot they've done is to say, come to us and negotiate. Is this not, in my word, that the battle line has been drawn? Is battle royale, as some people may want to put it?
It is not a call for the South to come and negotiate with them. Don't forget that the Northern Governors and the Northern Elders Forum and the Northern traditional rulers, emirs, and all those things, they've been meeting with their politicians, with their governors, the 19 governors, for a very, very long time. This is the first time the Southern governors have come together, including all the 17 states coming together. And as of even yesterday or day before yesterday, it was very clear that a few of the southeastern governors are not even in agreement with the Southern Governors Forum. So the point is that you cannot say you were there when you sent a deputy. They're talking about governors, you're sending a deputy. We're talking about our lives. So they know us very well, that we're not serious. They know us very well. And so this is not a call to call us to negotiate. Negotiate what with you? What are they negotiating with you? As far as they're concerned, they have made up their mind what they're going to do. And if you can, you stop them. If you cannot stop them, then they will go ahead and produce a northern candidate in APC and a northern candidate in PDP. Unless, of course, if the southern governors are going to come together and come up with another political party, which is possible and which I believe that I am coming for. I'm calling for. But for me, to what Ahmed has said, he has said it. They put it out there. They have said it, and they have planned to execute it and to get it. Where we are now is just to counter it. That's all. But for him to come out and say what he has said, it's not today that they discussed it. They didn't discuss it yesterday. They didn't discuss it this year. The Fulanis that are in power today did not discuss this issue yesterday or this year. It's been discussed a very long time ago, and they are throwing it out. Is it not the same elders forum that have been calling President Buhari names, telling him that he has failed? Is it not the same Northerners? I mean, is it not the same elders forum that have been saying this?
Some people have said that Dr. Akim Baba Ahmed appears to be a man of double-edged, or rather speaking from both sides of the mouth. In one breath, as you're right, he would begin to antagonize and attack the presidency. In the other breath, he's calling for the North, saying that the North has got the numbers, the numerical strength to govern. Then isn't that, invariably someone who's confused? But again, I'm going to push that question to you, Dr. Nwaezeigwe. Having listened to what Ms. Briggs have said, now what's your take as to when you hear something like this? What comes to mind is Hakim Baba Ahmed speaking from both sides of the mouth? Do you think? Because in one breath, he's saying that the Buhari has failed, that Buhari's presidency has not helped the North. So if the president has not helped his people, anyone would ask, do you want to insist on something that hasn't helped you?
First of all, I'm a historian. I'm a proud historian. And I know the Fulani politics right from Usman Dan Fodio, from Gobir, even to the point when he died, when there was power struggle for his succession between his first son, his junior brother, Abdullah who who is the son of who is the descendant of the present Emir of Gwandu, his first son. And then Mekiao, the Hausa man, he bought over to war against his people. I know the power struggle before the second son, Mohammed Bello, now took over. Mohammed Bello, they are taking, was not even the first son. He had tutored the first son and then took over. I know all their tricks. If you know the way they walk, that I've written it. You've read my work on the Jonathan issue concerning the Sokoto cow and other things. I've said many things about it. There's nothing like double mountain. In Islam, it is acceptable within the Quranic injunction to lie against the unbelievers in order to deceive them and take power. It is agreed in Islam. So when he's telling you that one, it's like playing the victim. It's just about playing the victim. Like the other time they talked about bandits kidnapping an emir. They're just playing the victim. They are part of it. Oh, we are also among those people suffering. But they sat back. They have sat back and took a decision and said, look, these people, they are now talking about, first of all, it was Southern and Middle Belt Forum. And then the Southern governors now came and then spoke about it. And then we'll be talking about the crazy conflicts, killings and then they now brought this issue. The next thing we do is, Ahmed, whoever you are the person to play this one. Let us psych them. Let us hear their response. That is one. And then let us use it to distract them. The Southern Governors Forum, they have every right, every audacity to make that pronouncement. Even among the AC. First of all, how did Buhari win the election? He deceived Tinubu, Alhaji Ahmed Tinubu. Oh, we are all Muslims. Support us. After my 8 years, you come over. We elect you. To the extent, I'm not telling you to the extent that to assure Tinubu that he will be given the position, they now asked the former Speaker of the House of Assembly, what's his name, from Bauchi State, a Christian. Yes.
Tamboa. Is it Tamboa?
No. He's a Christian, former Speaker of House of Assembly, of House of Representatives during Jonathan's time. So they just asked him to cross over to APC. They just asked him, Yakubu Dogara.
Okay, Dogara, yeah.
Yes. They just asked him to cross over to APC so that he will now become the deputy, the vice presidential candidate under Tinubu, who is a Muslim. That was what I shot. But within them, they already have their own position that it is a Fulani that will take over, whether we like it. And being that the Yoruba people, the Southwest, are now openly against them because it is obvious that Tinubu has been shortchanged. We don't know what happened to him, that for now he's struggling for his life. I'm not sure he's talking about the presidency now. They've now shifted. Oh, the Yoruba people have renegades. Let us now move to the Southeast. First of all, it was the carrot. Who is it? Your governor. Rochas Okorocha. You've been helping us. You be the governor. And he continues spending his money, awarding scholarships. People taking your oil money. People taking your resources. You are the little you have. You're also going to Katsina, to Kano, giving scholarship, establishing free schools because they want to give you what rightly belongs to you. And at the end of the day, they brought a young man. What is in Hope? Uzodinma. You can imagine the paradox of the name. Hope. Yet, Hope disappeared in Imo State. Uzodinma, red gold be fine. The road has become even worse than expected. They brought him to become the governor. Okorocha is now. Now it is now Omahi. Oh, PDP. Omahi, come. You are the right person. And Omahi has been using Abia State as a storehouse as a storehouse for Islamic fundamentality, for jihad operations in the southeast. And they say you've been our brother because you have been taking their sukuk bond, tying the future the progress of the economic progress of his people, under the strings of a Fulani sukuk. They now convince him to enter. That he's the right person to be a president. Your brother, Kojo Sokalo, is also there, parading himself, going to meet one diplomatic mission or the other, Buhari and the other. That's the right person. The governors, and that is why the governors of Anambra State are not even talking of the future of their children. They're talking about the vice presidency. They're struggling for vice presidency. And I want to tell you that what happened that there was pogrom against Igbo was the carelessness of these political leaders. And they're doing it. Because why people are talking about standing our firm, Aguiros and others, we are trying to please the House of Fulani. They are trying to please the Fulani. Why others are fighting for us? The same thing now. Middle Belt, they are fighting to liberate Nigeria from the shackles of these people's wickedness in administration, in leadership. The Yoruba are fighting, the South are fighting. Only Igbo governors, the same Igbo governors, who are normally the victims. If there is crisis today in Nigeria, if there is pogrom today in Nigeria, if there is anti-Christian, anti-Southern, it is Igbo man that will be affected. The same thing, the same Igbo people are renegading on the collective effort of the Southern people to liberate our people. The same Igbo people, the same leadership. Nsukka, you might not understand what I'm saying. The same Igbo, historically, they always allow themselves to be bought over. The Igbo man is a businessman. With your politics, you can sustain yourself. With your politics, you can manage yourself anywhere, anytime. From truck pushing, you can become a millionaire. Why should somebody, a non-entity, you have even been regarded, over time you have regarded him as uneducated, as uncouth. Now because he's in power, he has succeeded in taking power from you, you have become his slave, and you are proud of it. And let me tell you what. At times, we are talking of unknown gunmen in the East. I might not be a fan of Nnamdi Kanu. I may not be a fan of IPOB. But I'm beginning to see the nuisance value of their actions. Because these are the kind of leadership we get in the Southeast is frustrating, highly frustrating, that it can lead even a nun to become a prostitute.
Oh.
I'm telling you. So our major problem is the Middle Belt. Odon is fighting. Others are fighting. And you are relaxing.
Now let me come back here, and I want to just have a brief let me interject here. The question goes for both of you. If you may, within a minute, give me a response to this question. When Ahmed Baba Akim says the North, he means the core North and the North Central, or what some may refer to as the Middle Belt. Now, Samba has come out to say, no, when you talk about your North, the Middle Belt is not included. Don't you think that the North, in Ahmed Baba's concept, has been destroyed by this new generation pulling out of core North, saying, when you talk about your North, talk about your North. We in the Middle Belt are not part of you. Don't you think that has been destroyed? Nwaezeigwe, you may have a short 1 minute, please.
Okay. It is, you see, over time, right from the First Republic, the North had never been one. The North had never been one. We had Middle Belt. We had Middle Belt, United Middle Belt Congress, opposed to Nigerian, the Northern People's Congress. We have had the Borno Youth Movement, opposed to Fulani oligarchy. We have also had the NEPU, Northern Elements People's Union. They've also opposed Sokoto Caliphate. The North has never been one. The problem is that the South has not always invested politically. Politics to Fulani people is business because they don't have any other business. They don't have any other business. They are not businessmen. They are not whatever. The core businessmen in the North are even the Hausa. Because average Hausa man is a businessman. From selling onions, selling pepper, cola nut, is a businessman. Either a farmer or a businessman. That's Hausa man for you. But Fulani, outside cattle rearing, there is no other business except politics. And how do they invest? They go and buy prominent people in the South, make them quasi rich. I mean, like Nwaezeigwe, your brother, who said that he's, I don't know what he calls his name about Igbo people. And he now sees a Fulani man as his God. Oil that belongs to South. A Fulani man gave it to you. And you now left the owners of the oil well, and you're not talking about a messenger who appropriated it illegally. And you are seeing him as a God. So the point that the North has never been in one. But because of naivety of the South, their inability to invest politically. What do I mean by investing politically? Go in, put your resources, and support the middle belt. Support the Hausa people. The Hausa people are also oppressed because there's no single Hausa man who has a political clout, either as a governor or minister. No single, or even a director, no single Hausa man. If you know what I mean by Hausa man, I lived in the North. No single Hausa man. They're all the governors, except, So what we are talking about, the North has never been united. What makes it to be united is the indolence, is the latitude of the certain politicians who only think of their own without building up a base of support. They're bringing their resources to the North. Like, let me give you instances. Bauchi State has 1/3 Christian there. 1/3% of Christians, and no Hausa Fulani there in Bauchi State are majority. Bauchi State has 60% Christians. Nasarawa State has 70% Christians. Adamawa Place has 70% Christians. But these people have been separated. They have been denied their resources. They don't have resources.
Okay.
Somebody like Atiku now can call it short and then intimidate every other person in both Taraba, Bauchi, Gombe, and then assume that all of them are the same because of resources.
Thank you very much for that intervention. So, Annkio here, if I come back to you, the same question that I posed to him. Now, Baba Ahmed, or rather Akim Baba Ahmed here, when he talks about North, it appears that there is this homogeneous North. But again, like the statement I read from Samba that issued that statement yesterday, discrediting whatever he said, noting that there is no one North. And again, these are people from the Middle Belt, from Plateau, from Taraba, from Southern Kaduna, even to Southern Adamawa and all the rest. Now, if you just oppose this by that statement he made, do you think that, Samba is right or correct in what they've said, that there is no homogeneous North? Now, before you answer that question, just oppose it to the fact that when you talk about the Northern Elders Forum, or sorry, the Ariwa Consultative Forum, you find out, incidentally, that their chairman always strategically are picked from the Middle Belt. You may have a go.
If you remember earlier on, I said to you that they are very strategic in their thinking, in their planning, and in their execution of what they have agreed to do. This is my take today, my understanding today. I've come a long way to understand a lot of things. Now, the North that we call the North yesterday and today, there are people who are indigenous to that geographical area, just as there are people who are indigenous to what is today Yoruba nationality. They are all Yoruba people. There are people indigenous to what today is Igbo. They are indigenous to Igbo people. The same with the Niger Delta. There are different ethnic nationalities. We are indigenous to that place. It's the same with what we are calling Middle Belt all the way up to Niger. Niger State. There are indigenous owners. People who today are claiming that they own those places are people who immigrated by war, by conquest into those geographical areas. Full stop. That is the historical truth and fact. The rest of it is based on dates and wars and Britain and what do you call it? And colonial rule and no colonial rule. We are talking about 2021. We're in the 21st century now. What I am saying, what I have said, and what I will continue to say is that Nigeria belongs and will remain for the people who are indigenous. Now, if we allow events to end up the way they are going, you can't really blame the people who will succeed in taking Nigeria from the indigenous owners of Nigeria. Whether they are few, Ahmed says that they have the figures, they have the numbers. They do not. They do not. It is only them that think that 97% is 100%. But they play with figures and they do what they like with figures, and we continue to accept it. When was the last time there was census in Nigeria? And yet we're going to go into election without knowing how many people we are. And we have a government that is going to come up and tell us in the next year or so that we're 250 million people. And then everybody will start saying Nigerians are 250 million people. I don't even think that the people we're referring to are up to 30 million people. I do not think so in Nigeria. But the question, Mazi, the question we should ask ourselves, this man has said what he has said. It is annoying, it is offensive, it is not agreeable. But what are we going to do? What are we going to do about it? Is the question. It's not how angry we get. What are we going to do about it? Is the question. What are we going to do about it? PDP as a political party has failed, as far as I'm concerned. APC already we know has failed, but they came to fail. They came to fail us, they came to succeed for themselves. PDP itself, from 2015 till today, have just gone from one bad situation to the other, where they don't. PDP is not an opposition party. It is not a party that today I will not even bother to vote for a candidate of PDP at any level except in my state, because I have no choice. And the only political interest I have today in Nigeria is the political interest of voting for somebody of my choice in my state. That's all, because that's the only place I have political power. But when it comes to presidential elections, what's the point? Because they've already told you, you've been told, we have been told what will happen in 2023. It's not a threat. It's information. It's not a threat. He's not threatening anybody. He's giving information. And whether people say it's because of Southern governors coming together, yes, why didn't the Southern governors come together since? But thank God they are together now. And they should meet all the time and make a decision that the people can follow. Let them make a decision that we can key into. What is that decision? They should interact with us, the people. Let us agree with them. Which way are we going? What way are we going? What way are we going? Who says Nigeria is not negotiable? It's only negotiable on the terms of whom? And people are getting ready. I saw, what's his name? the former Imo State Rochas Okorocha people on a video with a T-shirt and all kinds of stuff. Rochas for president. Even if he's my brother, I will not vote for him. I will not vote for him. You know, for me, if the governor presidency is coming to the south, let me just put that down so that there is no ambiguity. If it is coming to the south, I say if, because if our people are not going to do anything about it, these people will succeed in what they have already put on place, and they put it there. If it is coming to the south, it must go to the south, to the southeast. I have no discussion to make there, because the Yorubas have no moral right to want to take up the presidency when it comes to the south. They've done 8 years. My own people in the south, I do not think that our problem is the presidency. It should go to the southeast for what it is worth, for equity's sake and justice. If there is an election, it should go to the southeast. But how can you go to the southeast if the APC is not going to give it to the southeast, and the PDP itself is not going to give it? Anybody who thinks PDP is going to give a presidential ticket to the southeast does not know these people. They are not. They are not planning to give it to the southeast. They're planning to give it to the north. They're planning to give it to the north. So anybody who is thinking that PDP is going to be a platform for them in this 2023 is fooling themselves. So the reality we are facing today now, there is only one thing now that we must make decision upon. Are we in or are we out? That's all.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's a very fine place to anchor it. Before we leave this evening, I would want to, I would want us to leave here with a possible solution. And I'll go first with Dr. Nwaezeigwe. Now, we have listened to this. Some say it's annoying. Some say it's arrogance. Some say it's very condescending, to say the least. Having listened to all this, yes, we can all get angry. Some of us that call for the revert of 1963 with current realities, obviously, because 1963 Constitution, when we talk about that, it had North and it had the East and the West. Obviously, that is no longer the reality that we have today. Nigeria has evolved more than that. However, we must, at the barest minimum, demand for a loose federation. If you want to be a premier somewhere or Sadrana somewhere, obviously you can. Now, having said that, what do you think, based on this information and based on this demur and posture, what do you think the South should be doing by this piece of information?
Okay, thank you very much, Nwaezeigwe. Our sage, political sage, Obafemi Awolowo, once said that those who make peaceful change impossible make violent change inevitable. Nobody has monopoly of force. Nobody has monopoly of violence. You put on all sorts of herdsmen. You put on all sorts of bandits. You are doing it because the South and the Middle Belt, because of their Christianity, are civil. They are slow in shedding innocent blood. But by the time the youths are let loose, then they will understand that Nigeria is even greater than Central African Republic, where they use the syntaxes to take power. Nobody forced them to leave that stage. Having said that, I want our leaders to understand the basic trajectory of these people's strategy. When you are talking of 2000, and I've said it, that as far as I'm concerned, 2023 is unviable. It's impossible in the context of free and fair election. First, when they talk about having the number, they're not talking about the aggregate population size of the country based on ethnic equation. They are talking about the registered voters, because they have access. They are in charge of registration of voters.
Yeah, but
They
sorry, Dr. Nwaezeigwe, may I quickly interject here? When you look at the previous elections,
yes,
most times the deciding factors when we
Yes.
talk about the North is actually the Middle Belt. So if this number resides with the Middle Belt, and the Middle Belt are now saying, hey, enough. I mean, you see that you know, at the beginning, part of your opening statement was that Autumn should join the Southern Governors Forum. If we begin to look at it and say this number in question is within the Middle Belt, and the Middle Belt is founding a new alliance with the South, to the point that you make that suggestion that Benue and probably Taraba should look southward. So if that alliance continues, doesn't that nullify any permutation that people like Ahmed is putting forward?
No. I want you to understand what I'm saying.
Mm.
Before 2019, we are talking of 2019. They are doing what is called continuous registration. I want you to understand, marry these people's political semantics with their action. You have to understand the way these people operate. I understand the way they operate. It's not we're not talking of middle belt factor. Jonathan even lost election in 2015 because of votes they carried from Borno, while majority of the people are in refugee.
In 2015, Jonathan losing was as a clear case of, the Middle Belt felt he didn't do.
Yes, even in middle belt.
So,
Yes,
but hold on,
even in
but
middle belt.
if you just oppose that, if you just oppose the voting pattern of 2011, you can see that Middle Belt actually massively voted for Jonathan, though they now turned their back on him in 2015 as a result of, quote unquote, the failure to implement some of the agreements that they had. I mean, you go on. I mean, I just wanted to interject.
No, you are right. But what I'm telling you that the margin, if you look at even the voting, the margin or the vote cast for and against Jonathan is not compared with the margin in Kano, in Kaduna. You understand? Where the gap in which over close to 2 million. You understand? The margin, even Oyo voted against Jonathan. The margin, all those margins, most of those margins were even covered by Imo State under Ohakim. If you look at, under Ohakim, when Ohakim was governor, the Imo voting alone covered some of the margins. So, but we're talking now. These people have strategized by bringing in foreigners and doing clandestine registration. And they are at the same time displacing the same middle belt people. A lot of them in ID camp now. A lot of them have abandoned their locations. A lot of them are being slaughtered. We are not looking at, this is the zone you are talking about that is supposed to be the game changer. And this is the zone they've now brought in conflict, killing, shedding of blood, displacement, so as to undermine that, that balance, that, that demographic balance. That is it. And that is their plan. And in place, they are also bringing people doing registration. If you're not talking of middle belt balance, what is the voting capacity now? Have they released it? They are telling us about continuous voting because they are still inviting people from Sudan, Niger, other people, and they are giving them registration. I also know during Jonathan's time, they've been registered people in primary school, people in Arumajiri schools were registered, and we saw the video. Our elders, our politicians have not looked at these things. I've said it. Let us, our people will say, chase away, drive away the wolf. Yes, before blaming the fowl. The danger now is first that the political demography of middle belt you are talking about
So,
is
Dr.
under threat.
Nwaezeigwe,
So,
in 30
yes.
seconds, your conclusion is?
My
Solution.
conclusion is first that our people should say under the present situation there should be no election in 2023 because the election has been declared already. There must be that restructuring which APC agreed on oath. There must be restructuring in this country.
But
yes.
if we are realists, and I mean I'm one, and I look at the possibilities, I'm gonna say, if a man is not able, in the last 6 years, he's been denying restructuring, even calling people names, something that is within the party manifesto. And suddenly, if a man is not able to do something in 6.5 years, do you expect that same individual to do magic? Apparently, we only have about 1 year, exactly 1 year or 1 year, 3 months before the next election or before the politics begins. So, you're saying no election until you restructure. But how is that going to happen? If a man is not able to do it in 6 years, how do you think he can do it in 12 months? Are we not reverting back to what the same thing Jonathan did?
Let me ask you a question.
Close to the election, he started something, yes, and see where we are today.
No. You see, let me tell you something about political struggles. Are you? Yeah, let me tell you something about political struggles. Yes, you put everything under probability. If you are attacking, you also create ways for your retreat. You also create ways for your sideways advance and for your leftways advance. That is strategy in battle. You don't just continue advancing without creating leeway for your retreat when it is necessary.
Okay.
The point is this: the election in 2003 had already been determined.
2023, yeah.
That is the point, whether you like it or not, because they have the voters list, they have the INEC, they will announce it, and they will tell the constitution says that if you are not okay with the election, you go to tribunal. And who are in charge of the tribunal? It is their people that are judiciary. And if you misbehave, they have the EFCC to arrest you.
Okay.
They have it. They have the police that will first arrest you. They have the army that can quell your rioters. So the point is this: if you know that election has already been declared, which is more credible to you? To say, look, I am not participating, which also give you some moral basis to continue fighting, and then add, remove the bit of credibility in that election. Or you just say, because I cannot fight it, I now accept it. The election is declared, and you become an accomplice. Then you become an accomplice to the same crime.
But Dr. Nwaezeigwe, I mean, again, what you've said is one point, but there is this also argument. I don't want us to debate this further, but there is this argument also put forward by Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo towards the Anambra State gubernatorial election. He made the argument that
if there's no election,
if you boycott the election, even if it's 5 people that vote, the election or the law does not say you need to have a minimum of 10 people, 20 people, even if it's 5 people that a certain party brings in the whole machinery of coercion and make sure that 10, 100, 200 people vote and the vote is counted, the individual, whoever they voted for, stands elected. So again, because there is no way to comply total boycott, therefore that argument doesn't in your view fall on its face?
Is okay. Well, you see, no. You see, you are becoming pessimistic. Pessimistic.
No, I'm not. No. Sorry, I quoted Professor Soludo for you, and I gave you his argument. So what I want you to do is let me tell you.
The state is different. Our sister Annkio Briggs has said it, that Rivers State is his own state. He will decide who will rule it because it is his own state. Anambra own, there's no ethnic conflict there. There's no killings between your people, between other people there. It is a family battle. Whoever that wins, whichever party you belong.
It means you're not okay. It means you're only talking about federal, so the state should go on with.
We are talking about federal.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about federal. In the states, whoever is simply Banapampi, whoever that wins is for the people because it is one family. We're not talking of a nation where a small minority will claim divine rights to rule in a country where they are even aliens. They are not even native. I think it is insulting. And my own suggestion is that, and the basic problem we have now in Southern Nigeria is the Southeast political leaders. And I'm calling the youth. I'm surprised that only few of us at the intellectual level are even talking. Where are my colleagues in the university? How much is their salary now when converted to dollars that they cannot talk? During Jonathan's time, as a senior lecturer, I could pay my ticket to Indonesia, to and fro, return ticket with my 1 month salary. Can they do it now? Can they do it now? Even a professor can use his salary and do it. Why can't our intellectuals come out? Why can't our traditional rulers come out? Because we are allowing riffraffs, we are allowing political carpet beggars to now decide our future. So the basic thing is that the Igbo people are now a problem. Nnamdi Kanu is not a problem. The leadership created an avenue. You see, IPOB is like a clean water in a leprous hand. And then it is also like mushroom. Mushroom can only grow under a decay situation. If the leadership wasn't decadent, somebody like Nnamdi Kanu couldn't have been able to mobilize IPOB people to be menacing everybody. It is the problem of the leadership. If the leadership wasn't okay, unknown government shouldn't have been there to be terrorizing everybody, deciding who will go to work or not. The people should rise against the leadership. You can't do that in South. I'm from Delta State. You can't do that in South. You can't do that in my state.
But
we remove you.
But we know, Annkio, I think your camera is so. But we know what is happening also in South. I mean, I think Nigeria. There is actually Nigeria. All the regions are like the knife within the kitchen of the widow. The one that has head is not sharp. The one that is sharp hasn't got any head at all. Now, I would use the opportunity to come back to Annkio Briggs now. And quickly, we are rounding up, obviously, joining the next meeting now. What is the solution? You asked a pertinent question, Annkio. You said, they do this firing. Most times, we do the talking. And I say, anyway, how did we know what they said? Because they talked. So it's talk. And here we have Southern, intellectuals responding to this ab initio that is expected. These shots are not fired for no response to happen. So what do you think, having looked at all the options available to us, what do you think would be the best option for what is actually, or rather for what was said? Oh, I don't know. I think Annkio is struggling with the camera there. But Dr. Nwaezeigwe, I think, obviously, if you know, we have the next meeting to join now. Yes. We're already late. And sadly, Annkio, when I was about having her to do the last bit of her submission and her her connection probably went off. But before we do, I wanted you to just, again, please be within time, between 30 seconds and 1 minute, to tell me what is your take on, oh, sorry, Annkio is back now. Sorry about that. Now, Annkio, sorry, I think you're struggling with your device there.
Yes, I did. Go ahead. You were asking a question.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
my question to you in summary here, what do you think will be the solution?
My brother, the solution should be clear to, ought to be clear to everyone by now. And that is very simply this, that we are at a point, southern Nigeria and the Middle Belt, no matter what has happened in the past, Jonathan, civil war, we're not going to forget what has happened to us in the past, but we're not going to dwell on it, because today we face graver danger, total alienation and extinction today. Afghanistan is what is on ground. Now, how do we get rid of it before it actually manifests is the question that we should be asking. And what I am saying today is that all the southern governors, including the indigenous people that make up the states in the north, should come together very quickly and make a decision of survival of the future. My brother, anything less than that decision of moving forward on our own, I think it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. There is no more, we don't have the capacity to stay as we were before, and we shouldn't.
Okay, so now
we have nothing to gain and everything to lose. The future is very bleak. Anybody that says they don't see it like that, that's the way I see it. And unless these leaders, our traditional rulers, our youths, our politicians, our women, unless we see what I am seeing today and make that decision that everybody is running away from, we've reached the end of the rope. It is finished. It's done. It's done. It's that if you're in a bad marriage, where you're beating up every day, you have children, and you say you're staying because of the children, forgetting that these children will grow up and go, and you'll be the only one left if you survive the abuse. There comes a time where you must make a decision. It may seem wrong at the time, but in the future, it would have been the only decision that you could have made.
Let me ask this final question. I know that we are definitely well over time, but this question, having read all the comments, and I can summarize them in one question. Is there anything stopping the Southern Nigerian as a collective to walk away? Annkio, 30 seconds.
I don't see it. There can obviously be no reason why the whole of Southern Nigeria cannot make up its mind, including the Middle Belt, to say that enough is enough. Enough is enough. You have to walk away from a bad situation so that you can live for the future.
Now, the same question, thank you very much. The same question applies to Nwaezeigwe. What's your take?
Yes, I think there is nothing wrong for the South to decide, look, just as Nwike has said it, look, no collection of VAT, no taking of our oil revenue. Tigray in Ethiopia, they did the same. They are battling over it. That's a region. Because their leader decided, we don't want this. So we can do it. And again, it is right time, because since our politicians are accomplices in this case, it is right time for our traditional rulers to build up. And I've said it. I've written to the Oba of Benin, Omonoba Ukunedo Polopolo. I've written to the Oni of Ife. You people have the clout. Call it, if the northern traditional rulers have been meeting under the southern, what stopped the southern traditional rulers from meeting, including the major, the Akuka, the Bonkonjos, the Tortis, the Atigala. If these people come out and meet and take a decision, let us see who can overturn. Look, we don't want to be part of this nation, because I want to tell you something. Whatever thing we have today as Nigeria, we are once the sovereign entities of these traditional rulers before the white men, before British came and conquered them. So it is their territory. It's their traditional territory that is in danger. Not even our own. It is their forefathers and their forefathers, their ancestors who bequeathed their throne to them before the conquest of the British. Will not be happy if they sit back, allow the Sultan of Sokoto to come and put an emir on top there as the traditional ruler of Benin Kingdom. Because
thank you very much, Dr. Nwaezeigwe. That's a very fine place to anchor this. Thank you once more, Annkio Briggs. You know, it has been my pleasure to have both of you here. It's been a fantastic conversation. Honestly, I've enjoyed every bit of it. Now, Annkio Briggs is a human and environmental rights activist, founder of Agape Birthrights NGO, a non-governmental organization. Annkio, once more, thank you for being part of this broadcast.
And the Niger Delta Self-Determination Movement.
Yeah, Niger Delta Self-Determination
Movement. Of that. And we've been there since 2014.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much for that. And I have also here with me Dr. Tony Nwaezeigwe, Director, Nigerian Civil War and Genocide Research Network. You know, also a research fellow in exile and the Institute of African Studies, University of Nigeria, Nsukka, expert in ethno-religious killings. So again, thank you very much, Annkio, for being part of this conversation. Now, as you know, as we are wrapping up now, please join me same time, 7 o'clock tomorrow. I will be having Professor Olufemi Fumilade. We will be talking more on self-determination and the boycott of 2023 presidential elections. What are the possibilities and the effect? Again, he will be coming from the angle of you know, an intellectual and also someone who had engaged with the Odua Nation agitation. Also, it will be indeed a fantastic conversation. Keep a date with me tomorrow. I am still your host. Again, once more, this is still Njenje Media TV. I am still Nwaezeigwe once more. And Doctor, thank you once more for being part of this conversation. Indeed, I am grateful for having you. Thank you very much, and good night, everyone.